going on, guys? In today's video I want to focus on sharpening your blade, whether it be a kitchen blade on a knife, whether it be a folding knife, whether it be some sort of a tactical knife, whether it be a machete or some sort of a larger knife. I want to just go over some facts about sharpening your knife and how to do it the proper way, as well as what type of various different stones you can use to sharpen your knife. Now I have a slide up and you can follow along with me on the slide, but as I talk through the slide I'm going to show you the things that I'm saying in front of the camera as well. So I'm going to go ahead and make this big. Now for demonstration purposes I'll probably be using the Benchmark Mini Ambush, as well as the Spyderco Tenacious, and then I have a bigger knife, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Now the most important thing when sharpening a knife, a lot of people don't think about, is safety. Make sure that you never put your finger in the path of a knife or the blade, or run your knife down the blade. If you do that, then you're obviously going to get cut, and depending on how sharp the blade is, it could be a serious injury. I know that some people I've seen before test the blade by actually putting their thumb on the blade, but if you rub down the knife, you're going to slice your skin open. Now that you can test the sharpness of a blade, and there's a technique for that, but you never want to run your finger down the blade, and that's pretty obvious. Just wanted to put that out there. Safety first in everything you do, especially with knives, firearms, weapons, that type of thing. Okay, continuing on, the very first thing you want to do when you sharpen your knife is you need to get a good stone, like I have here. Now these stones are fairly cheap. You can pick them up for a couple of dollars. They are made in a lot of different configurations, as well as different materials. When I say materials, different types of stones. Now stones, what they mean is these are minerals found in nature, and they're cut into specific sizes and shapes. This particular one I have right here is a silicon carbide, which is one of the hardest stones you can actually use or actually buy. Now you look here, it has a rough side. Rough side is usually the darker side, and then the fine side or smooth side is usually a lighter color. And we'll talk about that as the video progresses. Let me just make a couple recommendations before we get into this more. If you have a serrated edge like here, I would have a professional sharpen that knife. I would not sharpen it on my own, because you need a different set of tools to actually get these serrations sharp. Also, if you have a larger knife like so, with a lot of curvature to the blade, I would also have a professional sharpen this. Also, if you have a knife with more than one blade, and I don't have one to show you, but basically it would be a straight blade on the bottom and then angle up into another blade. So you actually have a point in between the actual two blades. If you try to sharpen that yourself, you can end up rounding the blade out, which will render the knife basically ineffective. So if you have those types of blades, I would recommend you have a professional do it. Now if you have something standard like this blade here, then you can obviously do that yourself. And again, this is the Spyderco Tenacious. Okay, step one to sharpen your blade is what I've already done. I've identified the rough and fine sides of the stone. Again, dark side rough, light side smooth. So you're going to use this side first, the rough side. Okay, the next step you want to do is lubricate the stone. Now you can do that with water or you can do that with oil, as long as it has some type of lubrication on it. Now some people are kind of against lubing the actual stone, but more people say it's better to lube the stone for a sharper edge on your knife. So you be the judge of that based on your own research. Okay, step 3, you want to swipe the knife across the stone at about 10 degrees on both sides of the blades. Excuse me. And you're going to see that in my video that's actually playing right now as I talk through this. Now I'm not going to actually run my blade on the stone because I've already done it. But what you want to do is you can lay it flat, angle it at 10 degrees or as close as you can. Obviously you don't know if it's 10 degrees exactly, and then you're going to bring the blade down the stone, ensuring that you get all the way to the tip. Then you're going to turn the blade on the other side and do the same thing. Go down, ensuring that you get each part of the blade. Now you want to do that maybe about 6 times on each side of the blade. Remember, the blade has 2 sides, so 6 times on each side of the blade. Then you want to flip it over and do it on the smooth side of the stone, or the fine side. That's going to kind of fine tune your blade and make it even sharper. Okay, step 4, what I just talked about, repeat the process on the fine side of the stone, which is the lighter side. And step 5 is not really a step, but you want to ensure to keep the angles the same each time you slide the blade across the stone. And I just demonstrated that. You want to keep it that same angle, 10 degrees down, 1, 2, just like so, and back, just like so. You want to keep the same angle, because if you don't, then you're going to get a poorly sharpened blade, and it does you no good to have a knife that has a blade that is ineffective. So keep that in mind. Okay, now on the bottom of my slide here, it just talks about different stones you can get. You can get oil stones, Japanese whetstone, Arkansas sharpening stone, silicone carbide. So there are a number of different stones out there. I'm not going to go too much into that because I could be here all day. But do your research and pick the stone that you feel is best suited for the type of knife that you have. Look over here on the left side. It talks about sharpening gauge. Now, if you're sharpening cleavers and chopping knives, then you want to have it angled at 20 or 15 to 20 degrees. That's angled down on your stone. If you have a camping and or pocket knives, you want to angle it at 10 degrees. And then finally, if you have fillet and paring knives, you want to even lower at a 5-degree angle. Okay guys, like I said, and I'm going to go ahead and end this, let me just tell you one more thing. Basically what I want to say is, if you are sharpening a knife with more than one edge on it, i.e. the one I discussed where you would have a straight edge and then an edge that goes up, my recommendation would be to get a professional to sharpen that blade. You don't want to harm the blade. You don't want to make it even more dull than what it is. Also, again, if you have serrated edges, I recommend that you get a professional to sharpen that one as well. Guys, it's been my pleasure. If you have any questions about sharpening your knife, suggestions on my videos, please leave a comment. Let me know. Please rate, subscribe, and comment. Take care, guys.